Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about setting up our Google account. If you already have a Google login, then you could use that for your AdWords account. Some people, such as myself, I've got a Google login for my personal information, but I also set up a Google account for each limited company that I run. So the quickest way I find is if you've got a Google up on your home page, if you type AdWords, and then it'll give you the link for the AdWords at the top. Now I'm getting served google.co.uk for AdWords. It could be different for you if you're living in a different country, for example the USA. So I'm going to click on this. And what I want to do now, I've got a limited company, so I'm going to use my limited company details, address, email, and also credit card, because I want all of this to go through my limited company. So this is just sign me in as my other business. What I want to do is get myself set up on my new business. So on the top right hand side, and again this Google changes quite regularly, so don't be put off. Have a look somewhere else on this page if they've changed the box, but it's got a little description of what Google AdWords is. You create your ads, you choose your keywords in your budget, and then people click on your advert. So it's in Google's interest to make this as easy as possible for you to go through the setup. There's just a few things which I'm going to cover as we go along and in another video, just to make sure you don't lose money, because some people have set up the Google AdWords account and not realised that they need to set a daily budget, logged in the next day and been several $1,000s out of pocket, which they legally have to pay. So you can phone Google if you want to get your AdWords set up, but we're not going to do that. So I'll click on Try AdWords now. I've got to create a Google account, so pick which one. I have an email address and password that I already use with Google, and I don't use these other services. So what I'm going to do is set up a brand new account here. So what shall I call it? Internet Rich. I always like to have a separate email account for all the different things I've got set up. Okay, we'll get there eventually. I didn't put the .com. Create account. And here we go. So these are setting up your personal preferences now for your time zone and currency. Time zone, I'm going to leave it at the UK. I've got GMT and London, so I'll click on London. A permanent currency, so you've got to be careful here that, I don't know obviously where you live or what currency you use. I prefer to use US dollars for several reasons. Normally if you've got a lowest amount you can bid on, you can normally actually get away with paying less if you're paying in dollars for the same keyword. So if I'd set it to pound sterling, I'd be paying slightly more. So choose your currency and your location, click on continue. Okay, and then they've sent me an email to make sure we've got the email address right. I'll log into my email account and click on the verification link. Okay, so I've been sent the verification link. I'm just going to click on that now from my email box. Address verified. Thanks for using the Google account. Add your mobile phone number. I probably would rather not do that at the moment. Okay, so this is it's nice, it's step by step, they have it nice and easy for us. Loads of questions and support here on the right hand side, and then we're being allowed to choose our first campaign. So we need to choose our budget, create our adverts, and then choose some keywords that match our potential customers. And of course Google will want us to pay, so they'll need our billing information. It's just worth covering what campaigns are, just briefly. So a campaign is the umbrella. You can have as many campaigns as you wish with Google pay-per-click, and under a campaign you will put different groups. So these are ad groups, group 1, group 2 and group 3. So say for example you're running a business or a couple of businesses, and one of your businesses is on self-defense. Now you may want to have one campaign that is concentrating on self-defense lessons and another campaign that's concentrating on self-defense equipment. Now if you bundle all of your AdWord groups under one campaign, it can get difficult to manage, difficult to track your results, and also it's more difficult to assign daily budgets. So what it's best to do, and have a think about this, there's two ways to do it: jump in and have a play with Google AdWords, or just have a little bit of a think for maybe a couple of hours on how you want the thing to run. You can always change it later, and again hopefully you're only doing a test with like $20, $30, $40 as well, so it's not like traditional marketing where you have to spend $1,000 on an advert and then pray it works, just to see if just to run a test. So under this campaign, we're going to have self-defense, and say we're concentrating on self-defense lessons or classes. Under group 1, we're going to be concentrating our keywords on self-defense for women or lady self-defense, another group for children, and another group for men. So this is a good way to divide up our ad groups, and then we can have keywords that will match more tightly to our niches. So for women, I've just made up these words. I don't really know much about lady self-defense. I put women self-defense, lady self-defense, female self-defense. What I would probably do if I was doing this for real is set up different ad groups with the different words at the start: women's, ladies and female, so I can see which one is more popular. And then I've done women's safety, lady self-defense, women's protection. Over for children, I've done the same sort of words afterwards, but I've put kids in front. You may also want to run a separate group on children. So if someone's typing children's self-defense instead of kids self-defense. Again, as time goes on, you'll learn what your niche actually searches on, and you may want to set up two different ad groups for this particular business: one for children searching for self-defense, and then another one for adults searching for self-defense classes for their children. And you may find both groups search on different terms. And finally, the same sort of thing for men. But basically my point is, I wanted to show you what a campaign is, the fact that each campaign will have different ad groups, and then the ad groups will have keywords in each section. Alright, so let's go back to our first campaign. So we click on create first campaign. I'm gonna call this self-defense lessons. Now here we got locations. I recommend you hover over all of these question marks to learn more about it, and if you want to drill into more detail you can click on the links. There's some really good training here. Now bear in mind what your business is doing. If you're offering a service type of industry that can't just be done over the phone, you may want to limit to your own country. And as you go further into AdWords, you can actually limit it to cities, geographic areas, and even times of day for your adverts. I'm going to stick to the UK for now. If I'm selling a product, I will always offer that product to countries which can afford it. So I tend to find third world countries and most of Africa, they don't really have credit cards, or it's certainly harder for them to get hold of credit cards, and I'm going to get bothered with requests for Western Union payments and things like that, which I'm not really interested in, to be honest. So networks, all available sites, or let me choose, and devices. If I hover over here, networks is basically saying, do I want to have it on the search network or the display network? So Google have got lots of different partners and ways for your adverts to be displayed. So you may have heard of AdSense. I like to tighten my campaigns down so I can say exactly where they've been displayed. So I always turn off the display network